Once upon a time there was a special school called Hogstones that taught young wizards and witches how to use magic. The school was located in a large, mysterious castle surrounded by a dark forest and a sparkling lake. The students arrived at Hogstones by boarding a mystical train that appeared at a secret location in the woods. As the train approached the school, the young wizards and witches gazed out the windows in awe at the grand castle ahead, with its many turrets, towers, and flickering lights in the windows. When they stepped off the train, the first years were greeted by Professor Owlbrush, the headmistress of the school. She was an elderly witch who wore long purple robes, a pointy hat, and glasses that rested on her nose. "Welcome to Hogstones," announced Professor Owlbrush. "Come along first years, keep up now. It's time for the start of term feast in the Great Hall." She led them through large wooden doors into an enormous dining room lit by candles floating in the air. The new students gazed up in wonder at the bewitched ceiling, which looked like the night sky. They took seats at the long tables under colorful banners representing each house: Emerald Snake, Ruby Lion, Topaz Badger, and Sapphire Raven. After the feast, the first-year students were led by the prefects to their house dormitories located in different towers and dungeons. The dorms had 4 poster beds with velvet curtains, and windows that looked out onto the surrounding mountains and forest. The students settled into their rooms excitedly, glad to finally be studying magic at the prestigious school after years of waiting for their acceptance letters. The next morning, the first years headed to the enchantment hall for their very first class, potions. The teacher was Professor Cauldron, a squeaky-voiced little wizard who had to stand on a tall stack of books to see over his desk. "Today we will learn to brew a simple laughing potion," he announced, as the students eagerly took notes. "Follow my instructions carefully, as potion making is a precise art." The students gathered ingredients from the storage cupboard, like frog tongues and bat wings. Following Professor Cauldron's directions, they gently stewed their potions in miniature cauldrons over magical floating blue flames. Clouds of purple and yellow smoke soon filled the room. By the end of class, some of the students had managed to successfully brew the giggling potion. Others, however, had failed catastrophically, accidentally creating minor explosions that left them covered in soot. After potions was Transfiguration class, taught by Professor Maplewand, an elder wizard with a long white beard that draped over his ornate robes. "Transfiguration is complex magic," he told the students, changing his desk into a pig with a tap of his wand and back again. "You must visualize the object you want to transform your target into, while concentrating deeply on your magical powers." The students excitedly tried to change matches into needles under Professor Maplewand's guidance. While no one succeeded on their first try, a few students were able to make their matches pointy and silver by the end of the lesson. The students left Transfiguration class feeling challenged but eager to master the complex art of magical transformation. The first years had many more fascinating classes to attend, such as charms, herbology, history of magic, and defense against the dark arts. In charms class, taught by tiny Professor Flitwick, the students attempted to make objects fly using the swish and flick movement with their wands. In herbology, led by cheerful Professor Sprout, they learned to handle magical plants and fungi while wearing protective gloves. One of the most anticipated classes was Defense Against the Dark Arts, taught by brave Professor Lockstrike. In their first lesson, he taught them spells to defend against sinister dark creatures like vampires, werewolves, and zombies. The students took careful notes about these evil beings and practiced magical defense techniques with their wands. The classes at Hogstones were intriguing but quite challenging. The students had to study and practice hard to perform the complex magic taught by their professors. Their textbooks were filled with fascinating spells, potion recipes, and notes on supernatural creatures and artifacts. In their free time, the young wizards and witches loved exploring the castle and its grounds. Moving staircases led to new corridors and rooms every day. Talking paintings with secret passwords concealed hidden chambers and tunnels. The students wandered meadows and forests filled with magical creatures. There were always new secrets and places to uncover in the mystical school. At the end of the first term, it was time for exams. The students were tested on all the subjects learned so far. For transfiguration, they had to change a hedgehog into a pincushion. Charms challenged them to make pineapple tap dance across desks. In potions, they brewed recounting remedies, and concocted shrinking solutions for herbology. The exams were difficult, but with all their studying and practice the students were ready. They remembered incantations, wand techniques, and ingredients. After finishing their last test, they left the classrooms proudly, ready for a short break before starting their next semester at the extraordinary School of Witchcraft and Wizardry.